Hi everybody, my name is Alex Tyrrell. I'm the leader of the Green Party of Quebec, and today we are in Dollar des Ormeaux in the Robert-Baldwin district, and I'm here to present our candidate that's running, David MacFarquhar. He's somebody who's been living in Quebec for 4 years, but he's very engaged and he's running for the National Assembly. He holds an engineering degree from Queen's University as well as a degree in biophysics from McGill, and he's working in the horticultural industry. It's really a pleasure to have him on our team. We're also going to be talking a little bit about economic issues today. So without further ado, I'll hand the mic over to David.
Thank you, Alex. Yep. I'm Dave. As Alex said, I'm not a politician through my education or through my work experience. My degrees are in engineering and biophysics, and I've only ever worked for private companies. But I think because of that, I am a little more open to ideas that exist outside of the red-blue political conversation that dominates the landscape in terms of politics in Canada. Whether it's the federal Liberals and the CPC or the provincial Liberals and the CAQ, since the beginning of the pandemic, it's become extremely clear that the current system is going to continue to fail Quebecers and Canadians. In fact, I was thinking of staying in the shadows and learning how things worked from behind the scenes for a little while longer, learning how to get into the system that I wanted to change. And instead, the Green Party of Quebec has given me the opportunity to learn on the job. So that's why I'm here today, presenting myself for the only party that has a vision that's really capable of tackling the many crises that we're faced with right now. I'll be clear, I'm an ecologist, I'm not an environmentalist. I think we need to respect and work with nature in order to have a successful society, rather than trying to control it in a way that we think at the present time is sustainable and find out later isn't. I'm a socialist, not a capitalist, and by that I mean that I think the roots of the crises that we have today in inequality and climate, housing, health, and other things, the roots of these crises are in the neoliberal policies that we've been relying on for the last 30 years. And liberty for all means that we need to end the exploitation of people at the hands of the rich and the wealthy. I'm a federalist because Quebec is an essential part of fighting back against the expansion of fossil fuels in Western Canada that is pushed by conservative governments and then allowed to continue by liberal governments. I also should mention that the attacks of the CAQ against Anglophone Quebecers, immigrants, and the Indigenous people who live in Quebec, these attacks are no more acceptable than the situation 60 years ago when Francophone Quebecers found themselves oppressed by the church and the Anglophone parts of the province. The liberty that I'm talking about also includes people being able to go about their lives and access their services in the language that they prefer to. In all of this, it's important to acknowledge and understand that the roots of these cultural conflicts are economic. They were that way then, and they still are now. It's for this reason that at the same time as we're trying to tackle the challenges of the climate crisis, we need to take care of economic inequality and achieve economic justice. Bringing together the vast wealth of those who run our economy with the relatively small wealth of those who actually make it work is an immediate priority of a green government and green deputies in Quebec. This would mean the increase of individual income taxes for people earning more than $100,000 a year, and also the increase of corporate taxes for the large businesses that benefit the most from the current state of affairs. Also, we propose to raise the minimum wage up to $20 an hour, which would allow us to start to make these terrible, massive inequalities become less and eventually go away. The reinforcement of workers' rights in Quebec is an essential part of the Quebec that I want to see in the future.
Thank you very much, David. So I think it's very clear that the people here in Robert-Baldwin will have a strong socialist candidate to vote for, somebody who can call into question the current economic model. Of course, as David mentioned, the Green Party of Quebec, we want to increase minimum wage to $20 per hour. We also want to make it easier for people to own their own apartments, and we want to to help people, pay their bills and get by the day-to-day by reducing the price of food, by having more local agriculture, by reducing the role of capitalism in the housing market, and also by having things like free transit that will make it optional rather than mandatory for many people to have private vehicles. So I'd like to thank you, David, for your engagement in Quebec politics after being here for only 4 years. It's really great when people step up to take leadership on these kind of issues. It's really a pleasure to have you on this campaign with us, and we'll be here to support you right until October 3rd, Election Day. Today is the first day actually of the Quebec election, so it's really great to be here with this first announcement of the campaign, I suppose. And we'll be having our formal campaign launch on Monday night at 6 p.m. in Verdun. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex.
And I wish you a good campaign.